Hey guys, what's up? It's me, People25 here, and today I am bringing you my Cedar Fair predictions for 2019. Well, better late than never, I should say. Yeah, let's just say I waited to the absolute last possible minute looking for clues that I could, and I still came up with just about as dry as it did a week ago. So, yeah, sorry about that. Before we start, Cedar Fair is a very hard park, a very hard chain to predict for, as very few parks tease the small additions. Usually, the major roller coaster additions are the ones that are being teased, but smaller additions, flat rides, are usually just called out of the blue, and you never even know if some parks are even gonna get anything at all. Some parks just go an off year. Just put the money to repainting something or touching up a garden or whatever. Now, I'm only here to accurately, in air quotes, predict a new ride, expansion, or other thing, so using a knowledge of history, land capacity, as well as a need from the park. Like this park has this much land and hasn't expanded this area of their park or hasn't invested in this type of ride since this year. That's more what I'm just going into, and they don't have anything like it. So I really think that this is going to be disappointing to some. And I also predict this will be a down year for Cedar Fair, considering their attendance is down from quarter two. That they put in 4 coasters last year, including 2 RMCs. So this will definitely be more of an off year. I wouldn't be surprised if half the chain goes without a new ride. But I'm going to go ahead and make predictions anyway. I'm going to assume every park is going to get I'll mention at least one ride for every park. But there are some parks I genuinely think will get absolutely nothing. And we'll be going from largest to smallest when it comes to these parks. Because I just feel like that's probably the best way to organize Cedar Fair parks. Because there's really not any sort of concrete geography or like alphabetical thing. And only 2 parks are completely obvious for what they're getting. But without all the way, let's move on here. Cedar Point. So they took out Witch's Wheel, their Huss Enterprise. That's why I got my last rides in July, because I know it won't be back there. Some people have theorized boldly that other things in the area would be removed for a larger expansion come 2020, but I personally think that's just a hunk of BS. I think that Witch's Wheel's removal, because of age, likely, and the fact that parts are hard to come across, that it's being removed for a 1-to-1. And I think it'll be used for a flat ride, a thrilling flat ride more often, because they haven't gotten a thrilling flat ride since Windseeker back in 2011, 2013, no 2011. And I see something along the lines of a super loop if they want to go cheap. But I think the best option they could do is one of those Aero 360 type inverting rides. They just put in one with Lumberjack at Canada's Wonderland, and they have put in one in the past with Meteor at Dorney Park. Seeing another one of these come to Cedar Point can definitely. They need an inverting flat ride because they have 2 pendulum-based rides, Skyhawk and Max Air, Windseeker, and a drop tower, none of which go upside down. And their only things that go upside down in the park are roller coasters, especially since they took out Witch's Wheel. So I think seeing one of those Aero 360s would be a wonderful addition to the park. And I think would definitely fit in the spot of land and maybe the surrounding patches of grass or gardens that were where Witch's Wheel once stood. So I think that's what we're going to be getting. Some sort of inverting, thrilling flat ride. Specifically inverting. I think that inverting one would be the proper one to go with. Some people are saying like a sky roll, like Skyhawk Canada's Wonderland, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's it. Moving on, we have Kings Island. This one is also another very interesting one. There have been teasers saying the return of Son of Beast. I think there have been teasers saying that Racer is going to be getting a complete overhaul because of RMC sightings on the General Racer property. To me, I think those are all like bait for a future expansion, maybe 2020, 2021. It's only going to be 2 years since their last coaster if they expand this year, which is Mystic Timbers, a pretty sizable expansion. But I think we are going to be seeing something at the very least. Kings Island did not put in anything except like a new restaurant or some new stores for 2018, so I fully expect to see a ride somewhere in the park. Nothing has been announced to be removed yet, but I think that I believe there is an empty platform on the Coney Island Mall or Coney Mall strip. So a top scan or a super loop, just like Cedar Point, they can use an inverting flat ride, since their ones being Drop Zone, Delirium, and Windseeker. None of those go upside down. So I think putting in something like a top scan super loop or possibly another Aero 360 if they want to buy in bulk would be a good fit for the park. But I think this one is less likely to be inverting because they don't want to compete too heavily with Cedar Point. I think it's really going to be either or, and I see that it'd probably be a better fit at Cedar Point because the signs are pointing that they are going to expand for 2019. Or not expand, but add something new. So Kings Island, I think we might see a family flat maybe to help with their family-friendly stuff like Monster and Scrambler, maybe Troika along the midway, whatever they have along the midway there, or like Wave Swinger. They got a pretty long row of family-friendly rides. Maybe we see like a flying canoes type ride as well. But I think a thrilling flat ride would be a better fit because they haven't gotten one for quite a while now. Moving on to Canada's Wonderland, this is very obviously a dive coaster, as there is track, supports, tunnels, footers, the whole 9 yards. All that's on site and vertical construction is commenced. Granted, not for much. Probably just, I believe, the transfer track. And we're going to be seeing the announcement. From when this is uploaded, the announcement in U.S. Central Time will be 8 hours from now. It's going to happen like 4:30 in the morning. So it's going to be announced before I even get up tomorrow. So yeah, this is a telltale sign. I'm very excited to see what this is going to be. I'm kind of hit or miss in the Ziz Club. The signs are pointing to it being named Ziz, but in my opinion, it's not a very good name and not as marketable as Leviathan and Behemoth. But, I mean, to each their own if they want to go with Ziz as the name. This will likely be a very similar ride to Valravn. And I'm very excited to see how this works out for Canada's Wonderland. It's clear as day that they're going to be getting a dive coaster. So, yeah. Moving on, we have Carowinds. We have the second major coaster of the year. We have a Mack double launch coaster. Canada's Wonderland, footers and supports are on site. I do not believe track is there yet, but it should be going in very soon. And this is, of course, the second very obvious choice. This was confirmed when we saw Mack footers and Mack power boxes on site with project labels corresponding to the Carolinas. And I think this will be a fantastic addition, as this will be Carowinds' first launch coaster since their Schwarzkopf shuttle loop, White Lightning. And granted, I'm very excited to see how this goes. This will be a fantastic addition, and I'm very excited to see. Granted, this will be announced on the same day that Six Flags is announcing their things on August 30th, for whatever reason. So we're going to have to wait 2 weeks on this guy. Moving on, we have King's Dominion. We took out Tornado because of legal reasons. There was some accident or some sort of injury on the ride, and they took it out for likely legal reasons or a court case. So it's an easy plot of land they can use for a water park expansion. It's just from a recent vlog shot at the park. The Tornado site is nothing just but a pile of dirt. It's just flat. There's fences up. There's porta potties on site. Might as well just put something new there to replace Tornado, make the water park actually more or less go even. And it's good for an off-year investment as well. This is a big enough park to justify putting in something new every year, but they just also got Twisted Timbers last year. Or this year, sorry. This season. It's Twisted Timbers' first season, and I think they can still market it into 2019 if they expand Soak City. Which I think is a good idea. I'm very keen on this idea. And I think from here, the expansions start becoming a lot less certain. We're going to move on to Knott's Berry Farm, which I genuinely think, of all the parks in the Cedar Fair chain, this will get nothing. Maybe general improvements, maybe a ghost town, a new restaurant, or a new ghost town experience. Because in 2018, not only did they install Hang Time, they also brought back their Chance Rides Wipeout, from reports I've seen. And granted, if that's enough on its own, I think a water park expansion could be in the question, considering it's in SoCal, but it was just expanded in 2017 along with the addition of Soul Spin. So I don't think we're going to be seeing anything at this park. I think we're going to be seeing general improvements. They're going to pull a Dorney or Kings Island on us. They're going to just put in nothing, in my opinion. Just probably a new restaurant or some sort of ghost town alive thing. It's just, yeah, we're probably not going to see anything from Knott's. If they announce something bigger than a mild expansion to like a small flat in whatever land they have over there, or whatever, if they announce like a water park expansion, I'd genuinely be shocked if they invested more than general improvements into this park this year, because they got so much in 2018. And they don't have to stay competitive unless they are fearful of Magic Mountain's new rumored major expansion in Adrenaline Alley. But even then, it's Magic Mountain. That park's trash. Kinda. Alright, moving on. We have California's Great America. This, I think, is the last answer I can give very confidently. I am in the boat that says they will be expanding Boomerang Bay quite largely, in my opinion, for the future. This was in the master plan. This was mentioned at some point, and I think 2019 is the year. Loggers Run was removed in 2017. The 2018 season's passed. The land is now perfect for extending the water park. They've also removed their pirate ship. I think the land is in the center of the park is now perfect for expanding Boomerang Bay further back towards the grave of Loggers Run. So, I mean, you can even see the water park from behind the Loggers Run shot I have in the bottom right. This is the perfect time to expand the water park, and will be, I believe, the last park in the chain that will expand their water park. I personally am a believer that only like two or three parts of the Cedar Fair, like 3 parks at the absolute most, will expand their water park in any given year. Because, I mean, going all water would be not a very good idea. But yeah, I'm going to say California's Great America is looking like a Boomerang Bay expansion. Then moving on to the neglected parks. Here's my freaking left field prediction here. Dorney Park is getting a Chance Hyper GTX. I'm going on a limb here because based off a social media storm that went off a couple days ago, there was a sighting of a Chance coaster track going east on I-70 in Ohio. Now, if it was going anywhere but the northeastern United States, it'd be taking a highway to get anywhere southeast. Whether it be the Carolinas, whether it be Georgia, whether it be Texas, Alabama, Florida, they'd be taking a different interstate. So it has to be somewhere basically north of Washington, D.C. Maybe Six Flags America, Six Flags New England, or like some small park. Maybe like Great Escape if I really want to go bold. Considering that the Chance Hyper GTX is coming likely from Kansas, I believe Wichita, if I remember correctly. It's coming from Kansas or Oklahoma. So I think this is very likely going to the northeastern United States. This deal was manufactured back in the spring, and we definitely are going to be seeing another one of these. I'm saying it's going to go to Dorney because they have the Stinger plot of land, and they have room. These things are usually known for being compact and very tight. This can easily be the best ride in the park if it does go to Dorney. And they haven't gotten a new coaster. 2019 was the major year, the rumored year for expansion. It'll probably be 2022 till they get their Dinosaurs Alive expansion. Maybe 2021 at the absolute earliest. These things don't make a lot of noise either, so it's not going to be like a big problem. Because I know Dorney's very prone to noise complaints. This would be an ideal fit for the park, and I think that the route in which the Chance track was going makes the most sense for Dorney Park. If not, it'll go somewhere in New England because it was only sighted in Ohio, so it's not as far east into the I-70 in Pennsylvania, which would probably be a more telltale sign. So it could dip off I-70 and go north into like New York or Massachusetts, or go into other parts of Pennsylvania, it can take it even further east to New Jersey if it's going to be Great Adventure. Who knows? But I think that Dorney's the best fit for this Chance track delivery that I'm seeing, and we might be surprised because Dorney, even with major additions, was never really much of a teaser because they're awful. So that's my balls to the wall prediction right there. We're just gonna have 3 slides of nothingness now. Worlds of Fun, just a flat ride. I want this park to get something big, but I think this will be yet another year of disappointment. So much land, so little capital, and I think just another thrilling. I think personally a thrilling flat ride would be better. They put in Nordic Chaser last year. They put in Mustang Runner and Mustang Runner. Like they put in a Troika and a Condor ride last year or 2017. It's time for a thrilling flat ride. Put in like a Super Loop maybe. I think it'd be a cheap addition that would get the job done. I don't know. If they're going to put one in Valley Fair, they'll put one in Worlds of Fun. They won't discriminate against that. I think that Worlds of Fun will likely get something because Cedar Fair cares about the park enough to renovate its front entrance. So I think we are going to be seeing something to keep the locals around. But I'm really just thinking another one where I think they can also get nothing because they've gotten flat rides for the past 2 or 3 years now. Valley Fair here, I think a family flat. They've gotten thrill flats for the past 2 years with North Star and Delirious, their Super Loop. I think a family flat on either of one of the vacant plots of land in Wild Things Helixes and Route 76, or a blank grass field I saw near the entrance to Corkscrew in their Shoot the Chutes, or the former spot of Riptide. Really, they can do anything with three. They can put in a family flat in any of those 3 plots of land. Based on their expansion prop policies, I think we could see something in Route 76 right next to their relocated Tilt-A-Whirl Tilter. And I'm definitely saying that I'm out on the Excalibur rumor until at least 2020, 2021. It would have been announced to have been closed by now if it was going, for sure. They would have given us a month. They probably would have closed it before or just after Hollow Weekends there. I think that Excalibur, if they would have definitely done a lot more work in the area now if it was going to be expanded. I think we're going to have to wait a lot later for Valley Fair's expansion. And the park that everyone probably forgot about, unless you're a masochist and actually watches these videos just to see people laugh at Michigan's Adventures expense, you already know Michigan's Adventures getting damn near nothing. The park last expanded with a kiddie water park expansion. I believe, I can't remember what it is. Basically with a kiddie splash pad in their water park for 2017. And their water park is often described as being busier than their dry park on most days, for some reason. And I think that more than likely than not, that we'll get absolutely nothing for 2019. But if I were to predict something, a new slide for the water park would actually be a decent expansion. It's been 2 years, and they got to spice it up for the locals. But I think they can drum up a bit of business with a family dry flat. They're not going to get anything big, or else we would have been seeing signs by now. Maybe some Shivering Timbers retracking as well. They can retrack another portion of Shivering Timbers and bring it back to its 1990s glory. But really, other than that, we're not going to see a lot out of Michigan's Adventure, as most of you have already predicted. And, well, that's all of them. That's all their properties, except Gilroy Gardens, because we know that park hasn't gotten anything new for freaking 10 years, it seems like. So, sorry about that. Yeah, that's my predictions. Better late than never, in my opinion, as we have an announcement pending. Well, if you got the 922 up here, it's coming in about 7 hours, the announcement, give or take. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Like I said, better late than never. This will be going up at about, the likely will be live. If you're watching, it'll be live. Chances are you've already seen a lot of you've already seen Canada's Wonderland's new dive coaster when you're watching this. This is going up at like 10 p.m. Central Time. But other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscription. Sorry for going off into a lot of tangents to this one. My thoughts have been everywhere trying to make this video as accurate, in air quotes, as possible. I've been following so many leads just to come up dry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscription for whatever it's worth. Hope you guys have a great insert unit time here. And as always,